this marriage, it seems so obvious, and sometimes it's rare that the obvious actually happens in the NFL, right, Albert?
Yeah. I mean, I think like the fit was obvious to all of us from the beginning, right? Like I think was what you're referencing there.
Sure,
and,
yeah.
But look, like the Giants still had to win this, and when he was let go 9 days ago,
crazy.
He heard from almost all the teams, like all the teams that had openings, and then a couple other teams on top of that. And so he launched himself into research mode. And from what I understand, he has been so thorough and so diligent. And he was talking to the teams over the course of the last week and trying to fact find. And he did, quarterback study on each of the teams. And, he got to the point where he was looking at Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza when he's considering the Raiders. And, you keep working it and trying to narrow it down. And so, I think more or less the Browns and Cardinals were eliminated. The Raiders actually was an interesting one. I heard he didn't want to go there because it's his brother's division,
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if that was exactly what he was looking for, nothing against the Raiders. And so then it was, the four teams that were sort of left. And, the plan had been to go to the Giants yesterday, meet with the Titans today, and then, be with the Falcons either Friday or Saturday. And to me, like the two things that he was looking for outside of like the roster stuff, the quarterbacks, the two words I'd heard was alignment and commitment. And like, so it was, John Harbaugh has a really strong vision of what, he wants in a football team, and he's very adaptable and adjustable, and he is a player's coach, but he knows what he's looking for in players. He knows what sort of play style he wants. And so he wanted a place that would share that vision with him, which obviously he had over the years with Ozzie Newsome and Eric DeCosta in Baltimore. And then commitment from the team. And anybody who's been around the Ravens knows, like, that's one of the most built out organizations in all of sports. Other teams, like, they'll have a couple analytics guys and they'll farm the rest out to, the different companies, the PFFs and True Medias and all that. The Ravens actually have their own systems, their own analytics systems in-house. It's just an example of like how far they'll go to make sure they're on the cutting edge of everything. And so I think going to a place that has that sort of commitment to football was important to him. And this is just me guessing, right? But knowing John like the way I do, I think it probably appeals to him too, that the owners there, the Mara family, there's no other businesses with them. This isn't like an owner who's got 15 different businesses and helicopters in on a Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It is their family business. You go in there and John Mara is, in the office working. And, so I think that part of it appealed to him as well. But those are the two words is that their alignment and commitment. And I think, in meeting with John Mara, Chris Mara, Tim McDonald, Joe Shane, Brandon Brown, all of those people, Steve Tisch at the Giants facility yesterday, getting a chance to sit down with Jackson Dart, running into Cam Scatabo in the training room. Like, I think he kind of felt that sort of alignment that he figured he would have, which I would guess was part of the reason why they were his first stop.
And it's obviously a blue blood franchise in the National Football League. That's a feather in a cap for somebody who, ordinarily wouldn't be able to find it somewhere else because he's already feathered his own cap with his resume, and as a coach that comes to the sideline in a manner that few Giants coaches have come to the sideline, which is with all these wins and with he's the only coach in the history of the Giants to show up with a championship already won. So there's that. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.